I just got back from seeing Mid90s, directed by Jonah Hill. He's doing big things now, directing movies. Mid90s tells the story of a young boy named Stevie, and he goes eventually by the name of Sunburn, and he's 13 years old. And instead of playing Donkey Kong Country on his Super Nintendo, he's sipping OEs and hooking up with girls and skateboarding and just getting into trouble. Just come on, guy. Don't do these things. But he's navigating through his life. He's dealing with his older brother, played by Lucas Hedges. He's just terrorizing him, and he has all these issues. I really don't understand why. You're like 13 and you should be happy with your life. But he's so angry at times, and he has these friends. He's searching for like this brother figure because his brother is not really there for him, and he beats him up. And so we have our movie, and this is a very nostalgic movie. I grew up in the 90s. I didn't skateboard. Instead, I'd scootered around the apartment complex and Heelys to escape my feelies. And but I still reminisced when watching this movie. We're going to talk about the good and the bad. At the end, I'm going to give you my score for this film. Mid90s, let's talk about it. Mid90s is easily like a movie that I just was like relaxed when I watched it. I saw it late night and I just sat there and I just was so chill when watching this movie. It's got like a nice calm atmosphere going for it. And I really like the aspect ratio that Jonah Hill had created for this movie. It definitely feels like a 90s movie. But the best thing I can say about this movie, it's chill. It's relaxing. I guess chill is a word that they used a lot in the 90s. But when I watched this movie, I felt so calm. And I just had a lot of enjoyment with the characters, even though he was doing hood stuff and, you know, he should be at home doing his homework, but instead he's trying to chug OEs in the bathroom while he goes to a party. Like, you're 13. I was playing Pokemon at the age of 13. But I just like the atmosphere that this created, and I was not expecting the end of this movie. The end of the movie got real. It got deep, and it was a little bit jarring, and I did not see it coming, and I thought it was like a perfect ending to this movie, where the whole movie was just like, it was chill, and they was skateboarding everywhere and having fun. But Jonah Hill, I know, is much more than that. It's like kind of almost like Jonah Hill himself. Jonah Hill can be in 21 Jump Street and Superbad, funny movies, but then he comes along with these other movies like Moneyball and The Wolf of Wall Street, and it's completely different from his other movies. It's kind of like that. The movie is like 95% is Jonah Hill's comedy, and then the rest of the movie is like his drama part, and I thought that was like a good combination. It worked really well in this movie. Now, the young boy in here, I don't know who the actor's name is, but I thought he did a terrific job. A lot of anger inside him towards the end, and he was searching for that brother figure, and he got that with 4 friends that, you know, some had conflict and some we got backstories on. We'll talk more about that later, but I like the group. I like the group aspect. They all just kind of had fun. Some of them were stupid. Some of them just wanted to get drunk all the time, and some of them were angry for no reason. But they, as a group, they kind of worked, and it just reminded me of my friends, the friends that I had, because I don't have any friends anymore. But it reminded me of me getting together with my friends late at night doing dumb stuff and just no reason at all, just doing stupid things. So I just like how it brought back memories. It felt like a natural group of friends, and I really did appreciate that from Jonah Hill. For a directorial debut, Jonah Hill did a great job with the characters, the story, kind of building up towards an end. It's a very short movie, about an hour and 23 minutes long, but definitely feels chill, and there's emotional moments towards the end, which I did not see coming, but I did appreciate it. Since I have actually not seen a trailer for this movie, I didn't know what to expect, except the movie's called Mid90s, and I lived with the Mid90s, so let's check it out. Now, some of the bad things in here are some of the side characters. We had some of the friends in here that Stevie had become friends with. One name was 4th grade because he was as smart as a 4th grader. And a couple other ones, I don't remember their names, but one of them just had beef with Stevie for no apparent reason. He just was upset every time Stevie talked, walked, skateboarded, because he connected more with the other grown-ups, the older kids. He was jealous because Stevie had connected with the older kids, and they never really delved deep into that. And it would have been a perfect time to kind of talk more about that and understand his family issues and his backstory, because we got some backstory from other kids. They dealt with things in the past, and they kind of talked about that in the movie, but they really didn't talk about this young kid. I forgot his name, but they didn't talk about his character too much, and I thought that was a perfect time for them to do that and kind of build on his character a little more and how it connected with Stevie. I would have loved to seen that, but we didn't get that. Also, in the beginning of the movie, and just mostly in the beginning, the movie is the 90s, so we're all going to see a bunch of 90s things, but it seemed like Jonah Hill's main focus was to show you things from the 90s. It was a lot of like CDs and hats and posters, clothing, different things that were the 90s trends. Jonah Hill was focusing his camera on those certain moments. And it kind of got like, okay, it's mid-90s, let's move on a little bit, let's get into the story. But he moved on from that. But just the issue in the beginning, it's like everything that he did, he filmed, he would like in shot was just something from the 90s. And I understand it's the 90s, so everything's going to be from the 90s. But it seemed like his main focus was just to tell you that this movie takes place in the 90s. Overall, I thought Mid90s was a great movie. It was very chill, had some emotional punch towards the end. The group worked really well. The acting was great. It was a fun movie. The 13-year-old kid smoking and hooking up with girls and sipping on some OE. It's like, geez, I did not do that in the 90s at all. So I could not connect with that. But the time I was about 13 was 2004. So I don't have to relate completely to this movie to enjoy it and kind of understand what was going on. I had friends who did dumb stuff, but not to the extent of what Stevie was doing. He was a baller, and yeah, he had an interesting life. But I'm going to go ahead and give Mid90s an A-. Really pleasantly surprised with this. I would love to see Jonah Hill do some more things. There was like a touch of Jonah Hill's comedy in here. If you've seen like 21 and 22 Jump Street, sometimes he can get a little bit awkward with his humor, and some of the delivery from the older kids felt like Jonah Hill had like a touch in it. He did write this movie and he did direct it, so I could see a little bit of his humor in this movie, which I really did appreciate. If you grew up in the 90s, or you just love the 90s, or you like Jonah Hill, definitely check out Mid90s. It's got like a limited release, and hopefully it gets some more of a wider release, because it's a really good movie. I definitely think you should check it out. Thank you guys for checking out this review for Mid90s. Stay tuned this weekend. I got reviews for Johnny English 3, which is a movie I loved watching as a kid. I'll be ranking all 3 of those movies as well. We're going to be continuing the 13 Days of Halloween movies reviews. I got about 4 left for you guys. Hopefully we'll be talking about Sabrina, the Teenage Witch Netflix show. And on the 31st, I'll be sharing with you guys my top 10 favorite horror films. It's not a list that's going to impress anybody, but I'm still excited to do it. Thank you guys for checking out this review. Hope everybody is enjoying their week. This is Just Watch Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.